Oh, sensor station. Oh yeah, I want to cover this one quickly. So hello again, I'm Coyote Jack, and PlayStation Store pricing leads to class action lawsuit in Netherlands. There need to be class actions lawsuits anywhere, considering all of this shit they have been doing with their digital storefronts. So Soyny has been summoned to the court in a class action lawsuit filed by the Dutch PlayStation players over quote-unquote artificially high PlayStation prices. I have seen some people also mentioning that they noticed a price hike in their exclusive titles such as Ghost of Tsushima and Days Gone because they announced a remaster and they say yeah we are going to increase the pricing and you're like go fuck yourself with that one. So let's see. The class action lawsuit against Soyny was announced in February of the current year when the Dutch consumer group Massaged and Consument, I hope I said that correctly, well, let's continue, had alleged that PlayStation Store's prices were artificially high due to the Soyny tax. It's the Concord tax. They need more money. And as there were accusations about abuse of power, as a result, Sony has summoned to the court over the collective lawsuit. So Sony hit with class action lawsuit over PlayStation Store prices. As spotted by MP First, Massachusetts and Consumer's news press release mentioned Sony being summoned to the court over the Sensor Store pricing lawsuit. Many Dutch PlayStation owners feel they have been pushed towards digital-only consoles since the latest PS5 generation because it has been like that. That's why you don't stick with those consoles. But let's see why is this happening. So it has been alleged that consoles work exclusively with digital games instead of physical discs. Moreover, their economic research reveals that consumers pay a quote-unquote an average of 47 more of these digital versions. Yep, there is. Also, they want them to kill physical media only because of this shit. Also, with Xbox, yeah, also Xbox at this point, yeah, they should be sued in the same way as along with Nintendo because yeah, all those quote unquote physical versions, yeah, it reminds me back in the disgusting days on the PC era when we used to have the physical releases. Excuse me there, but they attached that fucking dog shit that is games for Windows Live and kill it the physical games. You know, people mention Steam's killed it because it was a better service. I tend to disagree because you used to have physical games that, hey, here's the key, install it and play it. And now you have, oh, a game that has all the data and is useless because it requires a fucking unstable software from 2000s that services shut down over more than a decade ago. Yeah, it's heading to that route. It's just fucking digital waste here. So yeah, the release also discusses the allegations about the company's monopoly on digital sales, which combined with Sensor Station's larger market share in the console market leads to the so-called Sony tax. The tax is considered to be an artificially high price that leads to gamers spending more for digital games in-game and in-game content. Well, it also depends what kind of game they are pushing because from the likes like Tecmo, they love to price all of that shit, even when nowadays is censored. So let's continue. Accusations against Soyny. The foundation makes two main accusations against Soyny. In this class action lawsuit, quote unquote, excluding competitions and exploiting consumers against developers. The foundation feels that the platform quote unquote functions are as a closed ecosystem. Yeah, just like all of those consoles, they are the same. You should go after all the other two. Yeah, I don't have problem with that. So allowing Sony to decide who gets access under what conditions and what price. Yeah, because also other countries, because they put taxation on digital media, they say, nah, you're not gonna have to pay it. I know it's all going to be in US dollars on euros. So yeah, they screwed them up. So fucking hard. Alternate stores are quote unquote technically excluded on this PlayStation, which made players dependent on Sony's for their games. Also, I have to say, on Xbox you can have keys, and you can buy cheap keys and redeem it. And I used to do that in the Xbox One. until I couldn't anymore more than 4 years ago. So yeah, you can still even have the chance to get more stuff like with those Microsoft points and give that as a well, redeem again and give it as a present for some friend if they are in the same ecosystem. With Sony and Nintendo, you cannot do that, but still, yeah, the prices. Yeah, since they're pushing all of this for fake physical ownership and digital media, yeah, this I hope they get screwed out even harder. So consequently, it has been alleged that Sony is taking away developers' commercial freedom on movement. It's an easy, that's kinda bullshit, developers. More like, you know what, don't release your game there. Problem fucking solved. The report adds that the third-party developers and publishers, quote unquote, are contractually obligated to sell their titles exclusively via the PlayStation Store. Sony has the final say on the price, which restricts the developers' freedoms to set their own price. And so the Foundation Economic Research states that Soyny has made significant profits thanks to the quote unquote these skewed ratios, as there is quote unquote more than twice as much as margin on digital games as on physical copies. The research reveals that quote unquote the damage for Dutch consumers has amounted to 435 million euros since 2013. The first hearing to this class action lawsuit against Sony over transaction store prices might be held later this year. Oh, yeah, I hope they get bent over. Because this is from June. And also, it gets even more hilarious because Sony PlayStation's coupon settlement class was rejected in class action lawsuit. So, a US judge, this is the US now, has rejected Sony PlayStation settlement for the class action lawsuit, calling it a coupon settlement. So, the class action lawsuit question has been ongoing since 2019 when PlayStation stopped retailers like Best Buy and GameStop from selling download codes for digital games. Yeah, it used to be like that. You used to have that access to sales gains, and of course the keys will get cheaper from time depending of the ones that was selling it to you. So the class size includes more than 4 million, 4.4 million individuals, alleging that Sony is placing on quote unquote unfair prices in the platform's digital store and monopolizing the sales of these games. The company's effort to settle this case has been rejected. And you know why that is? Sony PlayStation tried to pay 7.8 million electronic credits to settle the case. So if you do the math, because they did it here, Spotted by the Gamer, a report from Reuters revealed that the US District Judge Araceli Martinez Holguin has rejected Sony PlayStation class action settlement. The console manufacturer was willing to pay 7.8 million in electronic credits to the impacted users to settle the case. Well, hey, they found this one. I'm just going to skip this because they mentioned the same shit. This one. Said the plaintiff lawyer has stated that they are seeking up to approximately 33% of the settlement for legal fees, or about 2.61 million, if because if 7.8 million store credits were to be distributed by 4.4 million impacted users, then each individual would receive less than $2 as 7 million store credits. So they saw what they were trying to do. They saw what they fucking tried to do there. Fucking nothing. And also, don't forget that in the past, Soyny used to give codes to use Integrator, but they were spiring. So they were going to pull the same shit, even if this is because it's a forced settlement. Nah, they tried to do this. Nah, rejected, bitch. This is too low. So, oh, there you have it. Yeah, this Sony needs to be screwed even harder because of this shit. Yeah, they even better. They stop. You should simply stop buying from those console manufacturers. They don't produce good stuff. They don't allow the good stuff to be sold there, and they do all this disgusting anti-consumer shit. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and please take care.